Hey everybody, welcome to Biblical Hebrew Lesson 1. In this lesson, we are going to cover the first four consonants of the Hebrew alphabet, or Alef Bet as it's called. And they are Alef, Bet, Gimel, and Dalet. Before we begin, however, please be sure to click the like button, click the bell to be notified when I publish future lessons in this series, and be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. All right, let's get started. The first letter is Aleph. Aleph. And you'll notice that there are two versions of the letter Aleph that I present here. The one on top is how it might look in the Hebrew Bible or in a modern Israeli newspaper or book. This is what we call the square script version, and that's what we're going to be focusing on in this course. And in fact, that's what all biblical Hebrew courses focus on, is the square script. However, during the monarchical period of Israel, when many of the biblical texts were written, many of the Hebrew Bible or Old Testament texts were written, a different script was used, and that is often called Paleo-Hebrew. It's actually the Phoenician script. And so the Phoenician or Paleo-Hebrew version of the letter Aleph appears below. Now, Aleph originally was a glottal stop, kind of like the at the beginning of the word apple. Apple. However, according to the pronunciation tradition that most people use today, Aleph is simply a silent letter. When we encounter the letter Aleph in the Hebrew Bible, sometimes it will have the ah sound associated with it. Ani, ani, which means I. You will notice here, even though you don't recognize all of the other letters, that the first letter in this word, the letter to the right, because remember that Hebrew reads right to left and not left to right, is an aleph. Now, technically, ah is not a sound of aleph. It's a sound that is associated or connected with aleph. But since we're just starting out, I want to oversimplify things a bit. So if you see an aleph, there's a chance that the sound ah will be produced. The aleph itself is silent, but the vowel ah might go with it, as in ani, ani, which is the word or a word for I. Now, sometimes there will be an eh sound associated with aleph, as in one of the words for God, Elohim. Elohim. The word is not Elohim, it's Elohim. Elohim. Sometimes there'll be an I sound associated with the aleph, like the I sound in machine. We encounter this in the Hebrew word ish. Ish, which means man. Ish. Other times an O sound will be associated with aleph, as in the word for food, ochel. Ochel. The important thing for now, though, is that you remember that aleph itself, according to the pronunciation tradition that we use, does not itself have a sound. The next letter is the letter Bet. Bet. Now you'll notice that the letter Bet has been written twice. In the square script, if it has a dot inside it, what we call dagesh, it's going to make a B sound like in boy. B, boy. But if it does not have a dot or it does not have the dagesh, it will make a V sound like in victory, victory. Now, when Hebrew is written in the Paleo-Hebrew script or the Phoenician script, the dagesh is never used. And so the letter Bet could be pronounced as a B sound or a V sound, and the reader would just need to know the correct pronunciation from memory. So as we said, Bet can be B, as in the word ben, which means son, ben, which means son, or V, as in tov, 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 which means good. Now, it is important to know the Paleo-Hebrew alphabet when we're studying Hebrew texts, because it was the script that was used during the monarchical period, during the period of the kingdoms. And we know this because many inscriptions have been discovered by archaeologists, like the Tel Zayit Abecedary. The Tel Zayit Abecedary, which is just this inconspicuous stone, which happened to have the Hebrew alphabet scratched out on it. You notice the Aleph, Beit, Gimel, and Dalet right there. Now the letters here, of course, have been highlighted for us, but this is evidence from the 9th century BC that this was the script that was used in Israel for writing Hebrew. Now here we're looking at a section from the Medieval Manuscript, the Leningrad Codex, which is the basis for pretty much all Hebrew Bibles today. And you can see that in the Middle Ages, when the Jewish scribes copied the biblical text, they did not use the Paleo-Hebrew alphabet. They used the square script. It should be obvious how different it is. I chose this text because it has the phrase Beit David in it, the house of David, as well. There's the Beit, there's the Dalet, Beit David. And so you can see how different it looks from the previous text. There it is up closer. There's the Beit, Dalet, and so on. To view the entire video, please be sure to go to my website, www.learnbiblicallanguages.com. www.learnbiblicallanguages.com. All right, we'll see you next time, everybody.